Imagine spending 10,000 days locked in a tiny cell by a brutal regime, only to walk out and forgive them. How did Nelson Mandela survive 27 years of chains and emerge with peace instead of revenge? In the sun-drenched valleys of Mvizo, South Africa, a legend was born. On July 18, 1918, Rolihlahla Mandela drew his first breath, cradled by the Thembu royal family. Though born into African nobility, his world was shadowed by the creeping grip of colonial rule. From the very beginning, his royal heritage instilled a profound sense of duty and justice. The soil of his ancestors would forge an unbreakable spirit, preparing him for a monumental destiny that would test human endurance. As a young man, Rolihlahla's thirst for knowledge led him to the University of Fort Hare. It was here, amidst dusty law books and vibrant debates, that the seeds of revolution were sown. Studying law opened his eyes to inequalities crushing his people. He realized that the law, rather than protecting innocent people, was weaponized to enforce brutal segregation. This awakening transformed a royal son into a fierce advocate for the oppressed, igniting a fire that could never die. The vibrant, relentless heartbeat of Johannesburg called to him. Working as a lawyer in the bustling city, Mandela witnessed brutal oppression firsthand. He could not stand idly by. In 1943, he took a decisive step, joining the African National Congress. A year later, he co-founded its Youth League, injecting radical energy into the fight against colonial rule. The young lawyer was gone, a fierce, unstoppable freedom fighter emerged, ready to tear down the walls of apartheid. Leaving the royal fold, Mandela chased the power of knowledge. At the University of Fort Hare and later the University of Witwatersrand, he immersed himself in the study of law. It was a grueling journey, but he understood a profound truth: to dismantle an unjust system, you must first master its language. The dusty law books became his weapons, and the lecture halls his training ground for the battles to come. In the vibrant, gritty streets of Johannesburg, Mandela found his true calling. Working as a lawyer, he witnessed the crushing weight of injustice daily. But instead of breaking him, it ignited a fire. In 1943, he joined the African National Congress, and a year later, he co-founded its Youth League, injecting a fierce, unapologetic African nationalism into the struggle. The young warrior was stepping onto the stage of history. When the white-only government imposed the brutal system of apartheid, the fight became desperately urgent. Mandela threw himself into the 1952 Defiance Campaign, rising as a champion of the oppressed. Repeatedly arrested and dragged through the 1956 treason trial, he realized that peaceful protest alone would never topple a ruthless regime. The initial struggles were bitter, but they forged his resolve, pushing him toward a more militant path. The Rivonia trial brought a devastating verdict: life imprisonment. Stripped of his freedom, Mandela was banished to the harsh, unforgiving confines of Robben Island. For hours, he shattered rocks under the blinding sun, his body imprisoned but his spirit unbroken. The apartheid regime believed they had silenced him, burying his fight beneath steel bars and stone walls. Yet, the darkest chapter of his life became the crucible that forged his unbreakable resolve. 27 years. That is how long the world turned while Mandela sat within prison walls. But silence was not surrender. Across the globe, a chorus of voices rose, demanding his release. Sanctions tightened, protests erupted, and the weight of international pressure mounted against the apartheid regime. Even from behind bars, Mandela's unwavering perseverance served as a beacon of hope, proving that no prison can hold an idea whose time has come. On February 11, 1990, the world held its breath as Nelson Mandela walked free. 27 years of imprisonment could have bred a thirst for vengeance, but Mandela chose a higher path. Instead of retaliating, he embraced the radical power of forgiveness, negotiating alongside F.W. de Klerk to dismantle apartheid peacefully. This monumental turning point proved that true liberation is found not in vengeance, but in the courage to reconcile and rebuild a shattered nation. In 1994, the impossible became reality. Mandela became the first black president of South Africa in a fully representative democratic election. Instead of seeking revenge, he championed the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, choosing to heal deep wounds through radical forgiveness. A new constitution was born, promising equality for all. The walls of apartheid had crumbled, replaced by the breathtaking architecture of a multiracial democracy, built on the unshakable foundation of peace. Mandela's vision stretched far beyond South Africa's borders. Internationally, he served as a global mediator, helping bring justice to the Pan Am Flight 103 bombing trial and leading the non-aligned movement. Back home, he walked a delicate tightrope. Though a socialist at heart, he retained a liberal economic framework to stabilize the nation, while fiercely expanding healthcare and battling poverty. He proved that true leadership means uniting a fractured world. After a single historic term, Mandela stepped down, rejecting the allure of extended power. He devoted his remaining years to the Nelson Mandela Foundation, fighting the devastating AIDS crisis and combating poverty. His life was a testament to the power of an unbreakable spirit. From a prison cell to the presidency, his legacy echoes forever. True freedom is not merely casting off one's chains, but living in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. For 27 years, the world saw a man confined to a tiny cell, but inside, Nelson Mandela was building an unbreakable fortress of the mind. He understood that before his body could be free, his spirit had to remain untethered. He cultivated a philosophy of radical resilience, realizing that hatred was a burden too heavy to carry on the long walk to freedom. In the silence of his captivity, he discovered a profound truth: the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Emerging from decades of darkness, Mandela could have demanded vengeance. Instead, he offered his nation something far more powerful: forgiveness. He championed the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, believing that confronting the brutal past was essential, but vengeance would only guarantee a destructive future. His core belief was that true freedom required dismantling the legacy of apartheid through unity, not retaliation. He taught the world that reconciliation is not a sign of weakness, but the ultimate act of courage, choosing a shared tomorrow over yesterday's scores. Though critics on the right denounced him as a terrorist, and those on the left viewed his reconciliation as a betrayal, Mandela stood firm. He was a man of profound contradictions, yet unyielding principles. In his later years, he reflected on his own humanity, insisting he was no saint, but a humble servant of his people. His greatest legacy is not merely the political freedom he won, but his enduring philosophy that no one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin. After his presidency, Mandela continued his relentless pursuit of justice through the Nelson Mandela Foundation, combating poverty and HIV/AIDS. When he passed away in December 2013, the world mourned, but his legacy proved unbreakable. Today, his life stands as a towering testament to the power of forgiveness and the resilience of the human spirit. His long walk to freedom did not end with him; it lives on in every heart that dares to choose reconciliation over revenge. Nelson Mandela showed us that even the darkest prisons cannot cage the human spirit. In your own life, may you carry his enduring light of forgiveness and resilience. If this story moved you, like this video and subscribe for more stories of extraordinary lives.